Hello, everybody. Welcome back to episode 5 of Heavily Contested. This is Chris right here. I got my boy Matt right here.
Yo.
How's it going, everybody? Today, it's a very big day. If you're a Miami Heat fan, the Miami Heat are one game away from reaching the NBA Finals after a 112-109 victory in Game 4 of the Conference Finals. There's a lot to dive into this game. We're also going to recap Game 3 a little bit and get into a Game 5 preview, which we got tonight. Let's go, Matt. Run it.
Yeah, Tyler Hero's a monster, you know? 37 points. Guy was unbelievable in every aspect. The guy's always unbelievable.
He's an absolute savage,
he comes
bro.
out every game and he does what you need him to do. If it's passing, if it's rebounding, if it's handling the ball, the guy always comes out and he's just solid every single game.
I definitely feel that, bro. You know, his performance in Game 4, I feel like, you know, with the absence of a presence really from Jay Crowder and Duncan Robinson, I feel like he really solidified himself as a bona fide rising talent. You know, the Heat fans, the Heat Nation, they've all been saying, oh, Tyler Hero's a bucket, Tyler Hero's a bucket. People say, oh, he's nice. You know, he got ranked second team on the rookie team.
Should be first.
Should have been first. I think if everything were to come after the playoffs, he would be first. But let's talk about his game, though. Like you said, he dropped 37 points. That is a rookie record in the conference finals. This man picked up the slack and single-handedly proved to be the one that tipped the balance. And, yo, I was even watching this interview, like, you know, they were saying before that Iggy was comparing him to Stephen Curry, and then everyone called cap on that. But, yo, Iggy actually, I saw this recently. He told SI that he wouldn't compare them, but, quote, the way they can handle the ball and get into their shots, Tyler shows some resemblances there. And he went on to say in that he can get to his shooting pocket off the dribble and off the catch and shoot, which is rare. That's something that's really high praise from someone who's really seen it all. And hell, he may even make his like fifth or sixth straight NBA Finals.
The one thing about this game that I look at, you look at the numbers after the game, and the Celtics actually outplayed the Heat. When it comes to field goal percentage, three-point percentage, and rebounding, the Celtics outplayed the Heat, but there's just a major problem that the Celtics have had all series, that they struggle with turning over the ball. The one game that they were able to keep the turnover battle close, they were able to win that game.
Yeah.
But when the turnover battle is 19-8, you're not going to be able to win the game. There was like 4 possessions in a row in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
Where the Celtics come down the court, Marcus Smart or Jason Tatum comes down the court, and they turn the ball over.
It was definitely rough, especially seeing Tatum drop a goose egg. That's probably going to be like one of a few words here that I'm going to drop out here, like a goose egg. Bro, that guy really just dropped the ball there. Like, I personally feel like if Jason Tatum played a better first half, there's a chance they win that game, bro. And look, another difference that we're talking about from games 3 to 4 that dropped off for the Celtics was the fact that the Celtics in game 3 had 60 points in the paint in game 1 compared to 38 points in the paint, which matched the Heat in game 4. And the Heat were able to reduce everything.
Yeah. And the Celtics doubled the amount of 3-pointers that they took.
They took,
you know,
like, what was it here? I got the notes here. You got 43s compared to 26 in game 3.
Right. And in game 3, they were able to penetrate that zone that Miami was playing a little bit better. In game 4, they were just trying to chuck up threes.
Because they were coming back.
Right.
That was the whole time. See, like, you have a good point, though, because, look, the Celtics in game 3, they were up 20 points. Dude, not up 20 points, but yeah, they had a 20-point lead.
20 points
yeah,
at a time.
20-point lead. The Heat didn't have a lead at all. But this game was different. The Celtics had to play catch-up ball after laying it all out in game 3. I feel like the Heat right now, for example, if we're going to talk about something else that they need Jay Crowder to step out.
Yeah.
Like I'm being serious.
And Duncan Robinson.
And Duncan Robinson, like, yo, you want to know what these guys combined for in game 4? Let me read you these stats. Jay Crowder and Duncan Robinson combined for 1 of 14 field goal shooting and 1 for 11 from the three-point line for 6 points. That's 3 points for each of them. This can't happen moving forward. And Jay Crowder, in game 3, he also shot 2 for 10, all from three-point range. I think those two guys, especially with Hero now, after coming off a 37-point game, I think Brad Stevens is a pretty smart coach, and I really do feel like he's going to have to make his adjustments, and he will. And it's going to be something where it's going to be more of a team effort that's going to require Jimmy Butler to possibly put up some double-digit field goals here, because he hasn't done that since game 1 of the Bucks series, where he put up 13. I think we're going to need a lot more of a team-oriented effort and not have so much of, you know, depending on one guy. We love Tyler Hero, and Bam also did his. Everyone contributed, but it's going to need to be everybody.
Yeah, we're also the Heat are a very different team when Jay Crowder and Duncan Robinson get hot. Because when they start banging home threes, it's like they can't miss.
It's insane.
And it just gets a little ridiculous at some point. And there's another thing that stands out for me in this series is that every single game, somebody new steps up for the Heat.
Yeah.
There's a new player that hasn't played all that well, and they come in and they step up and they play well for the Heat. The Celtics, it's the other way around. You know, they have one guy that they need to score that doesn't step up. and it affects the whole flow of the game because they can't run the ball through them because they're missing all these shots. First it was Kemba, last game it was Jason Tatum. The one guy that for them that has been solid the whole series through has been Jaylen Brown. When Jaylen Brown gets the ball, me as a Heat fan, I get scared because the guy, he does so many things well. He can shoot the 3 ball. He's super athletic when it comes to driving to the basket.
Yeah.
He's always on the offensive boards. That for Jaylen Brown is the main problem for me.
I think Jaylen Brown is someone that I told people going into the series along with Marcus Smart. Those are two guys that are going to be giving the Heat problems on the fact that they're two very, very, very good guards. And not only that, but Jaylen Brown is so athletic that besides the fact that he can shoot the ball, he knows how to facilitate. He can create his own bucket. He's also, no pun intended, but he's also a great defender that I think is really slept on. This team, the Celtics, like you were saying, I do agree with you that they're a little bit limited in that sense, but I think that's because their guys, it's those 4 guys, and I'm saying 4 if Marcus Smart has a good night. That's something I was talking about with a friend of mine earlier, and it's just something that I really feel like the Heat just have that advantage because, look, the Heat realistically in Game 4 played a 7-man rotation, and they won that game. Meanwhile, the Celtics played around a 10-man rotation. It's just, hey, we're playing with less, but the less can do more. And I think that's something that we're also seeing right now with the Nuggets. If we look at the Lakers series, that's something that's very similar. We're going to talk about that later, but I want to get into your prediction tonight for Game 5.
Game 5, I'm ready to whip out the pots and pans.
Pots and pans on 8th Street?
Pots and pans, 8th
Street!
La Carreta. Let's run it.
All right,
Let's
so
go.
what do you got? You think that he won a close game, or is it going to be I'm not going to tell you
All these
for a score.
All these games have been close. No matter what team has a lead, the games always end up close at the end. So I see the Heat taking a close one at the end.
Okay, I think Heat make the finals. Go down 8th Street, dog. It's going to be great. Listen, the Miami Heat, they have recovered. And listen, I think we're preparing ourselves for the Riley Bowl. The Riley Bowl between the Lakers and the Lakers and the Heat, rather. But we're going to get into Lakers and Nuggets now. How do you feel about that? Lakers are right now also on the brink of the finals. We can find out about that tomorrow. What do you think?
Yeah, the Lakers just look a lot faster and a lot more physical than the Nuggets have for most of the series.
Yeah,
the Nuggets take the game, and they're down 3-1 again, so obviously we can't count them out. They've
100%.
come back down 3-1 twice.
But do you really think that, there's a lot of NBA fans right now that are saying, oh, man, the Nuggets are going to come back, but, no. Do you really think that's possible?
It's an odds game.
I don't want to disrespect them.
It's really an odds game at the end of the day. The odds of them coming back from 3-1 3 times is very minimal.
Yo, legit, put them in historic teams in 2K next year type shit.
Yeah.
Seriously, it's going to be insane.
Yeah.
But what do you think? One more.
So, and another thing, too, is Anthony Davis has been an absolute beast in every single game.
Yeah.
He's
definitely been a deciding factor.
He's dominated Jokic down low, which we predicted before this series even started, that Anthony Davis down low is going to be way too much for the Nuggets because they don't have anybody to guard him. Jokic is not a good defender in any means whatsoever. Yeah, the guy does a lot for them offensively, passing, scoring, rebounding. But when it comes to anything on the defensive end, guarding a pick and roll, guarding Anthony Davis in the post, it's just tough for him. And we also saw Dwight Howard get his first start.
Dwight Howard was nice last game, bro. Yeah. He really stepped up. That man, listen, and JaVale McGee, in his presence right there, in his spot, I think he's doing a lot better of a job because, listen, JaVale McGee right now, while he hasn't gotten his usual minutes, that guy only has 7 points and 7 boards in this series. I think it's definitely not an accident that Dwight Howard is in this series right now playing and covering Jokic. That man right there, you have to give him his respect. Even at 35 years old, I think that's what he is right now. That guy, he's so quick that he's able to stop Jokic. And the difference is that Jokic is used to playing a lot slower type of big, where they can't handle him. Even for him, he's quick off the dribble for a big. And it's just rough, bro. And even then on the boards, dude, this game, I really looked at the series, and I started looking at the numbers, and with the exception of Game 1, where both teams finished with 48 boards, the winner in the rebounding battle has won each game. In Game 2, the Lakers won 50-44. In Game 3, where the Nuggets won, it was 53-34. In Game 4, it was 51-39. I feel like that's something that actually tilts the balance of power within the game.
Yeah. I don't know about you, but for me, this series has been a little tough to watch.
You think?
Right?
Well, how come?
I don't know. It's just when you watch these Heat Celtics games, there's so much more fast paced. There's so much more going on.
Yeah.
There's so many more people involved. With the Nuggets, with the Nuggets and the Lakers, it's a lot of slow paced basketball. Yeah, the Lakers score a lot on the fast break, but most of the time it's just open buckets. And a lot of the time it's AD and LeBron pick and roll, Jamal Murray, Jokic pick and roll. It's a lot of the same thing over and over.
It is, and look, that's something that Michael Porter Jr. talked about before. But I feel like since that comment, though, the Nuggets actually have been able to get the ball around a little bit more. It's just, it's very simple here. Like we really do understand and respect that the Nuggets, they are what they are. They have a great player, like an absolute great player in Jamal Murray who stepped up. They got Jokic, who's a special talent. But right now, in order to be in this series, they're going to need another performance like a Jeremy Grant who stepped up the last couple games. And you're going to need that from multiple guys because, look, the Lakers, I'm going to give you a stat right now. Not that they've done it so much in this series, but in Game 4, they combined for 60 points, and they're 18-1 when the Lakers, when both of them score 60 points. That's insane to me. And that's something that if we look ahead to a possible finals matchup with the Heat, we're really going to have to figure out how we're going to stop that. But I think the Nuggets, let's be real. They've got it. They've gotten it this far. It's a nice story, but I think the Lakers are going to win tomorrow.
Yeah, I agree with you.
100%.
Yeah.
So I think
I don't really think it's going to be a close game either.
I'm not going to say that. I think the Nuggets actually are going to do they're going to pull a little bit of magic out. They're going to make it interesting. Every game has been interesting. You can't deny that. While it may be a bit of a hard series to watch in the sense that it's not such flashiness, I think that it's been a bit of a grind because that's how the Nuggets are going to work. They're like the Heat.
Yeah.
They want to bring you to play their type of style. And at the end of the day, the Nuggets are liable to do anything at any time. So that's something that I think the Heat also poses a threat to for the Lakers next series in the potential finals. What do you think?
Yeah, AD and LeBron, for anybody in the NBA, is just going to be just very tough. Always. Because obviously, we have Bam, who we saw do a great job against Giannis, and who's going to do a great job against AD, I think, when that matchup comes to be. The main problem is obviously LeBron. LeBron is an animal. It's going to be tough to stop him. He's a freight train, and he can get however many points he wants any single night.
Yeah.
And there's nothing you're going to do to stop it.
But it's such an interesting series in the fact that I feel like the Heat in some way have some sort of an upper hand compared to other teams because we have somebody who is able to handle the keys to LeBron James in his absolute prime. I'm not going to say that Eric Spoelstra is going to be the deciding factor in this, but I think the way that the Heat are constructed right now, I think we both can agree that the Heat have a lot better of a roster than the Lakers do.
The way that the Heat played offense when LeBron was here, LeBron has taken that to every single team that he's gone to.
Yeah, and it's all transition.
Right, and that's how they've played basketball. That's how LeBron has played basketball ever since he left Miami, is with how Eric Spoelstra set up the offense for him when he was in Miami. He took that to Cleveland, and he's taken it to LA.
And he's keeping the main thing,
right.
Like Spo would say.
Right. So obviously Spo knows what he wants to do.
Yeah.
Obviously Spo's going to come up with a great game plan to try to stop them, but you can't stop LeBron James. You can just maintain him.
Yeah, and the thing is, everybody knows that LeBron James is going to be LeBron James, but if we're looking at the stats here, though, I really feel like both of these teams, it's going to be, the pundits are going to say that the Lakers are going to dominate this series, this, that, and the other. But if you look at the stats, these teams are actually really, really, really on par with one another. If you look at their offensive stats for the year, including the bubble and regular season, it's 113 points for the Lakers to the Heat's 112. You got 44 boards a game for the Heat as opposed to 45 boards a game for the Lakers. And then also their field goal percentages are 46 and 47 respectively. And then you look at their defense, it's 109 allowed for the Heat and 107 allowed for the Lakers. These two teams, they're very similar to one another. You can keep looking at the stats. You go on Basketball Reference and things like that. It's a great website. But both of these teams, if you look at the numbers, and despite the fact that the Lakers won both matchups, it's going to be a series that I predict to go 6 or 7. And if I had a gun to my head, I'm going to hit 7.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be an intense game, and I'm not going to give you an intense set of games. And I'm not going to give you a prediction yet because I want to save that for a next episode. But I really do feel like it's something that's going to set up to be special. And Pat Riley's got his hands all over this one, bro.
Yeah, in that series, the Heat are going to force other people to score besides AD and LeBron. When it comes to the Lakers defending the Heat, anybody can get 20, 25 on any given night. So you have to guard up everybody on the floor at all times. The Lakers, yeah, you have Rondo and Kuz and Alex Caruso and some of these other guys, but when it comes to everybody producing and putting up points, the Heat are going to win that battle every other.
And we're a great defensive team as opposed to the Nuggets, bro. But anyways, let's talk about some other type of defense here. Let's talk about the NFL. Let's talk about the Patriots who've got a great defense against the Raiders. What do you think?
Yeah, I think this is an interesting game. The Raiders are coming in 2-0. Patriots 1-1. Could be 2-0 if Cam gets in the end zone there.
Yo, Cam is looking nice with the Patriots.
Cam has looked. at the beginning of the season, did not think Cam was going to come out and be as good as he was.
Really, you think so?
I didn't think Cam was going to be that good.
Did you think that you would even see half of what he's doing right now?
Not at all.
No?
Not at all. No. I thought, he's not throwing the ball the same as he was when he was with the Panthers. He's not the same zip on the ball, but he still has that athleticism. He still has that competitive mentality that he's always had. And I think for this game, the Patriots, when it comes down to it, the Patriots are healthy. The Raiders, Josh Jacobs is Josh Jacobs is a little banged up, even though he's going to play. Henry Ruggs is going to be out. So I see the Raiders hanging around, but I think the Pats are going to win. The Raiders cover the spread, 24-20 Patriots.
Look, the Raiders are coming off a confidence-boosting win over the Saints, and yeah, they don't have Michael Thomas, but they still went up against a pretty solid defense. But it came with a caveat. The Saints actually did look kind of flat, though. And, they had 10 penalties. I just simply don't see a Bill Belichick team giving up 10 penalties. And I also don't see the Raiders being able to contain Cam Newton. It's something that I think is going to really tilt the game a bit. Derek Carr is a nice guy. He's a good quarterback. Darren Waller stepping up. You got Josh Jacobs. But at the end of the day, I got the Patriots 31-24. That defense is just going to be able to assert itself. Cam Newton is going to continue to do well. And next up, we got another AFC team in this right now. We got the Bills and the Rams.
Yeah, this game opens up as Buffalo as a 1-point favorite. So obviously they see this as a close game. But Josh Allen, ever since he came into the NFL, has been doubted. And every single time somebody has doubted him, he comes out and he plays great. Yeah. Even though he's not the most accurate quarterback in the world, he can do it with his legs. When he's got open guys, he hits them. And both of these teams have elite coaching staffs. Sean Payton's a great coach. Sean McDermott's a great coach. So I see that this team's going to be just a battle of head coaches.
Sean McVay, not Sean Payton.
Sean McVay, sorry.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah, I see this being a battle of coaches, a battle like a little bit of a chess battle. But I see Buffalo taking this game late in a low-scoring game, 17-14 Buffalo.
Look, Josh Allen's really pressing the gas this year. He's got 722 passing yards and 6 TDs through 2 games. And I'll be honest with you, I think the Bills are looking great in the receiving corps. That Stephon Diggs addition is great to go along with John Brown. But that defense, I don't feel like they've really done anything just yet. Like, they faced the Jets. Yes, they won. They were expected to. And even the Dolphins to a certain extent. But they struggled a bit with the Dolphins, especially down late. I feel like that's something that's, they can't afford to have something like that happen against the Rams, who are coming back this year with Sean McVay, and you also got Jared Goff in there.
Yeah, but we've seen this team be great defensively.
I understand. I understand what you're saying, but this year, I don't know, it just feels different. And I'm not saying that they're going to give up an insane amount of points or anything like that, but I just feel like this defense, for example, like of the Rams, they haven't even allowed 20 points this year. And I understand that Josh Allen is Josh Allen, but I think it's going to be a bit of a grind. Each game that the Rams have been in, their defense has just been really solid. And I'll take the Rams 27-21. I don't know. Like, it's just something that I really feel I'm comfortable with. But if we're going to talk about uncomfortable, we're going to talk about picking the Cowboys in anything. What do you think? They're facing the Seahawks.
Yeah. The funny thing for me in this game is that they have the Seahawks as 5-point favorites. The Cowboys have the better defensive personnel.
Yeah.
They have an elite running back. They have arguably a better receiving core. And they're still going to lose this game. They're still going to come out and
Isn't that crazy?
Game. And the reason for this is Russell Wilson has been on a tear.
Let Russ cook, boy!
Yeah, he's going to continue his MVP caliber season. He's going to be unreal like he always is. I think Seattle takes it 31-24.
Look, I definitely agree with you. I think, I'm just going to say my pick right now. I think the Seahawks are going to win the game. But the Cowboys, if you think about it, they're one of the most inconsistent, but like the most exciting, exhilarating teams to watch in the NFL. And
you never know where you're going to get.
You never know. And look, what's so frustrating about them is, like you said, they have such a great offense, especially, and their defense is pretty solid. Mm-hmm. But you look at their pieces on offense, and you're like, why can't this team get it together? And look at Mike McCarthy last game. It was just an absolute mess. Yes, they came out of there with an insane 40-39 win against the Falcons. But I feel like that game, they came back and they did it. That game was just Falcons. The Falcons have a reputation, like I told you earlier in the year, 28-3. It's just, it happens, bro. I'm sorry. The Falcons gave it to them. Yeah. I feel like they're going to be coming off. They got the momentum. It'll be interesting if they can continue it. Mm-hmm. But I just feel like Russell Wilson is Russell Wilson. He's doing something special this year. I feel like there's just something different. And also, the addition of Jamal Adams has really made a difference. But if I'm going to give you a score, I'm going to have to give you 35-20. 27 Seahawks.
You know what's another funny thing about this too is that most of the time when you go into these, you pick on any NFL game, if the team has a better O line and the team has a better D line, they're gonna get picked to win the game.
Yeah.
The Cowboys have a better O line and a better D line, and they're not getting picked to win this game by me, by you, by anybody.
Because there's just something about them that's inconsistent.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And I really hope it turns out to be a good game. But I think a better game we're going to have here is Drew Brees against Aaron Rodgers, Packers Saints. What you got?
Yeah. So the Packers open up as 3-point favorites against the Saints. But the Saints last week showed that they struggle without Michael Thomas. And
He's huge, bro.
Yeah. Drew Brees in these first 2 weeks has slowly started to show his age. While Aaron Rodgers into his 30s now, still having great years, still being an elite quarterback. And he's looked great through the first 2 games of the season. The Packers are healthier and have better weapons right now with the Saints without having Michael Thomas, and the younger and better defense. I think Green Bay takes this game 34-28.
I'm going to make it simple. Drew Brees is going to win this game.
Oh, man.
I'm going to tell you that right now. It's going to be a great game. I feel like they have to bring out Taysom Hill. They have to. Taysom Hill has to pop off this game. And I understand.
Why do you think Taysom Hill is
I think Taysom Hill is such a special player. I feel like it's a crime he hasn't been brought out. And look, let me get into it. Matt LaFleur and the Packers offense, they look great this year. I was sleeping on them earlier this season. I wasn't sure what was going to be the deal with that team or anything like that. But Drew Brees has been slept on lately, bro.
Drew Brees has sucked the first 2 games.
I understand. He's been getting slept on. I just feel like it's going to be a great game for them. I just personally feel like there's just something. He's going to have a chip on his shoulder.
This is you as a Vikings fan hating on the Packers.
No bias. Look, I'll even give you a score. You want a score? I'll give you a score, bro. I'll give you, let's say, 31-24 Packers.
All right.
I'll hit you with that. And next up, we got probably the matchup of the freaking week. My favorite quarterback of all time, Patrick Mahomes, the GOAT. Okay, I'm going to take it a step back. So we got Patrick Mahomes against Lamar Jackson. What do you got?
This is going to be by far the best game of the week. Probably the game of the year, you know?
It has the potential. This can be like a Rams-Chiefs.
2 MVP quarterbacks going up against each other. But at the end of the day, they both have great and dominant offenses. But Baltimore is just so much better defensively.
Yeah, I would say they're a favorite above the Chiefs right now.
Right. The Baltimore, I don't think has a chance to go. I think they have a chance to go undefeated. I don't think it's going to happen because they're the most well-rounded team in the NFL.
It's insane.
When it comes to quarterback, they have 2 great backs in the backfield. Rookie J.K. Dobbins, Mark Ingram can still produce for you even at age 32.
You even got Mark Andrews, Marquise Brown. You got freaking Will Fuller, bro. Not Will Fuller. The other guy. I forgot his name. It's another 5th guy. One of the guys that's the 5th. But anyways, I forget his name. This team is it's special.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'd be remiss, though, to say that the Chiefs don't have a chance in this game. They, of course, do. But there's something interesting to look at here. I was really intrigued right here looking at how the Chargers were able to pose a really, really, really big challenge for them last weekend. You know, you had that whole Tyrod Taylor, situation. Justin Herbert came in. It was a whirlwind, especially in the beginning of that game. But somehow Patrick Mahomes managed to pull it out. I did say don't sleep on Patrick Mahomes pulling it out. He did it. But at the end of the day, this offense, this defense, I don't know if this is a week that they can do it. I think they're going to be special. It's going to be a great shootout. Mm-hmm. But that defense for the Ravens, it's something else, bro. I don't feel like the Chiefs can really keep up with the Ravens if we're going to get into a matchup that really depends on the defenses to hold it up.
There's 2 ways that this game can go. If you get in a shootout with Patrick Mahomes, it's going to be very tough for you to win a game.
Yeah.
If you're able to somewhat limit him with a very, very good defense that Baltimore has and be able to kill the clock running the ball and keeping the ball on the ground, keeping your defense off the field.
Yeah.
You know, I think that if Baltimore is able to do that, which I think they will,
mm-hmm.
that they're going to be able to take this game 37-31.
37-31. Dog. Oh, God. I really hate to pick against Patrick Mahomes, but I'm going to have to do it. I'm going to go 34-24. The Ravens are going to win the game. And on that note, I think we're going to end this episode. Next week, we promise you we're going to get into some baseball talk. We've got the baseball playoffs coming up.
Yes, sir.
We've been waiting to get to that point, but it just hasn't fit. Now that things are kind of dying down, there's going to be a little bit of a lull with the NBA. I feel we can slip it in there. And anyways, let's just continue the ending right here. Follow the Instagram at Heavily Contested Pod, and also subscribe to us on YouTube, and also like and follow us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. We're out there. Thank y'all so much for listening. We'll see you next week.